Top 100 Unsolved Mysteries of the Universe. Episode 1. The Initial Conditions Problem of Cosmic Origins. Picture the universe today as a giant city that has already been running for billions of years. Galaxies shine, elements assemble, temperatures fall, and structure keeps growing. But when we rewind the film to the very early universe, what appears is more like a pot of ultra-hot soup that has been stirred almost smooth. The cosmic microwave background tells us the large-scale backdrop was astonishingly even. Big Bang nucleosynthesis tells us the early environment really was hot and dense. Yet the strange part is that this soup could not be perfectly smooth. It also needed tiny wrinkles, faint as ripples on milk foam, because later stars, galaxies, and clusters had to grow from those small seeds. That is the real puzzle. Why did the universe begin with such a nearly perfect starter kit? It had to be smooth enough to produce today's large-scale order, hot enough to match the light element record, and still rough enough to leave the right small fluctuations behind. Mainstream cosmology can evolve the later history beautifully, but once you ask where this starter kit came from, the difficulty appears. The usual move is to assume an ultra-early boundary condition, as if a mysterious package arrived with no sender attached in physics, and reconstructed the rest of cosmic history from whatever was already inside. Inflation can indeed compress several headaches at once: the horizon problem, flatness, and the seed problem. But it is immediately hit by its own questions. What state did inflation start from? Why did that phase happen at all? And why did it stop in exactly the window that leaves a universe like ours? In the end, the problem has not disappeared. It has simply been pushed one step earlier. EFT tries a different rewrite. It does not treat the starter kit as a free gift attached to the universe at boot up. It treats it as the material aftermath of an upstream exit process. The key question is no longer, how did space first open? But, how did the medium first appear? In EFT's candidate picture, our universe did not erupt from a mathematical singularity. It looks more like an energy sea left behind after a parent extreme system slowly exited the stage. The chain can be compressed into 4 steps: pore evaporation, outer critical failure, overflow into a sea, and broken chain boundary formation. Think of the parent system as a cosmic pressure cooker driven to the limit without instantly exploding. Its outermost layer is not a cold geometric line but a breathing skin covered with tiny pores that open and close over immense spans of time, leaking pressure a little at a time. Inside is a violently boiling, high-tension, strongly mixed energy broth with no stable particles and no clear roads, yet everything is still being stirred together. As this ultra-slow exhalation continues, the outer critical condition is finally worn through. What follows is not a bang from one literal point. The interior high-pressure broth begins to spill outward and spread, becoming the early energy sea. Once you read the story this way, many apparently miraculous initial conditions gain a concrete source. Why was the early universe so hot? Because it was the leftover heat of an extreme state exiting. Why was it so uniform? Because the parent interior had lived in a regime of long-lasting strong mixing. Why was it not perfectly smooth? Because even a well-mixed boil is not a dead mirror. Overflow and relaxation inevitably leave behind small wrinkles and windows, and those become the seeds of later cosmic structure. In this reading, the CMB and BBN are no longer stamps certifying a single singular point origin. They are more like photographs and lab reports from an early construction site, records of a hot, dense, strongly mixed phase. There is also an important guardrail here. EFT is not denying the hot early universe, and it is not saying the observations are wrong. What it rejects is the automatic leap from, we really do see a hot early phase, to therefore there must have been a final, physically unquestionable absolute beginning. The hot early universe remains, but it is demoted from an untouchable first cause to an early condition whose origin can still be investigated. Mainstream cosmology often looks like starting with a boot sheet whose parameters have already been filled in, and only afterward asking why the machine started that way. EFT instead reads the steam on the rim of the pot, the watermarks on the floor, and the heat left in the metal. then works backward to reconstruct the earlier high pressure, pressure release, and overflow process. That is F's central rewrite of the initial conditions problem. Initial conditions are not a gift. They are an inheritance not inserted by hand, but left behind by an earlier exit. Tap the playlist for more. Next episode, the Big Bang Singularity Problem. Follow and share our new Physics Explainer series will help you see the whole universe more clearly.